Hey, we should live. We are back and we are going to be building more River Song. She is again, in case you haven't seen her yet. So, we finished last time on original Innistrad, so we are now on the Crimson Vow and um, Midnight Hunt. I was trying to think of what the. I had the word moon stuck in my head and could not think of the name because that was not actually part of the title. Don't need Alchemist Gambit, Revel, Suitor new, Ballista Watcher, Ballista Wielder, new, Biolume Egg. One or more blood tokens. Target creature can't block this turn. Triggers only once each. Blood token. Like Curiosity. Enters a battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shows a card type with the exiled card, deal 2 damage to that player. Probably not. And I may look at the top card. Once each turn, I may cast a spell from the top of my library if it shares a card type with a card exiled with the Illuminator. I don't think so. Doesn't let me play lands and does not let me chain spells together either. And I have to have exiled something that matches what I currently have on top, so that seems like a lot of hoops to jump through for that card. Exile the top card of your library. If it's red, you may cast it this turn. Eh. Change of Fortune puts me down a card. Because it's not 1 plus the number of cards discarded. And it's 4 mana, it's sorcery speed, so I think we can do better with 3 mana or less at sorcery speed for effects like that. No, I don't think so. Answer. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. Nope. Puppeteer. Witness. Have Trample. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to an enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Until end of turn, that creature's controller may play that card, and they may spend mana or mana of any color to cast that spell. No. Dollhouse. Vampire. Monstrosity. Tackle. You would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead. You may play those cards this turn. So, River makes me draw from the bottom. This makes me draw from the top again. And it doesn't let me use counter spells. Yeah, I don't think so. I want to have reactionary cards in my deck and not being able to do anything on other players' turns because the cards keep getting exiled and I can't cast them. Like, yeah, I can't save them to cast during my, like, until my next turn or something would be a lot better, but. It's not what she does, so that's not gonna help. No, Frenzied Devils, Geistlight Snare. Stitcher, Ghastly Mimic, Gutter Skulk, Moonhurst New, Heirloom, Hullbreaker Horror, no, the Hullbreaker, Ill-Tempered Loner, Fired Idea, discard any number of cards and draw that many cards plus one. Hello, Vintage. How is your stream that you're rating me right now? Also, the notification did not go off for me anyway. Or did you just pop by and you're using your raid emote? Oh, it looks good. Investigator's Journal. Nope. Alright, did I want to do Into the Night? That one at least gives me the other card back. But no, I don't think so. Draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. You may look at that card. You may pay 6 if you do transform him. Lantern Bearer, Lightning Wolf, Lunar Rejection, Magma Pummeler, Hellkite, no. We don't have zombies for Necroduality, Olivia's Attendance, Patchwork. 3 damage to any target. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards. Rending Flame, Repository Scab. Graveyard to your hand, no. Runebound Wolf. Scattered Thoughts is okay, but not quite where I need to be at. We need repeatable effects that are closer to that. Just to get rid of the top card when it's not a thing. I know we're going to get some eventually. When we get to, like, the lower number core sets, but... enters the battlefield, exile 2 creature cards from your graveyard. If you do, draw a card. No. Make a 1/1. No. Force Strike, Syncopate Reprint, Siphon Essence. 2 damage to each non-vampire. Don't need the Epicure. I don't think it's worth paying 2 life for the Visionary to keep doing it. As soon as we want to cast one of the spells, she flips, and then I've got a 4/3 that can't block. Yeah. That's close, though. Like, if it were a little less damage, maybe. Like, if it was 1 life, I might be down for that. We might run the 1 artifact that lets me cast colorless spells off the top. Because then we can use it with Sensei's Divining Top to draw the bottom card of our deck, put the top on top, and recast it, and keep doing that. Alright, so that was Crimson Vow. Let's do Midnight Hunt, and then do the 2 commander sets after. Excuse me. The 2 target creatures can't block. Top 4 cards of your library, instant or sorcery. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Nope. Elementalist, no. No. They read into any number of times. No. Deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Discard up to 2 cards. Draw that many cards. The Chilling Chronicle. Ooh, excuse me. Very... between the hiccups and the coughing, just not a good day audio-based. Aurally? There's a word for sound that's an adjective that I'm looking for, and I'm not sure what it is. Beginning of enchant player's upkeep, any number of target players other than that player. Each draw cards equal a number of curses attached to that player. Deals 2 damage to them. For secrets, devious cover-up reprint. Discard a card, draw 2 cards, has flashback. Flame counter, remove a flame counter, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Whenever a spell you control, spell I control deals damage. And this is the flip side. So what's her front face again? I think I have to deal some amount of damage with a spell. Just have to deal damage with a spell and she flips. Not unreasonable, but it is close. If I knew I was going to do a lot of burn spells, but so far I think the only major burn spell we have is the Miracle One Bonfire. Got a card, draw a card. Oh, there she was. Flip the switch now. Copies my next instant or sorcery. Try and target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. Nope. Harvesttide Assailant. Harvesttide Infiltrator. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, draw a card. So 1. There's Liar. Deals X damage to any target, X+1 instead if the target is a creature or planeswalker. And flashback, remove loyalty counters. Top X cards of your library, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Man, that random order is always going to kill me. X damage, where X is a number of permanents. Nope. Red Knight. Up to 1 creature gets -2 power. Rush, Ominous Roost. Fail 3 in flashback. Christian Geist. Nope, none of these. Raise the Effigy. No. Jetpack Werewolf. No. Revenge of the Drowned. No. Seize the Storm. Sludge Monster. I'm sorry, I'm going back up to Seize the Storm. It's okay. I still prefer our Shark Typhoon, since it's letting me draw a card when I cycle it, and I put it back. So I feel like that's doing a better job. Then a card that counts the number of instants and sorceries in my graveyard. Adversary, no. Startle, Stolen Vitality. Relix. I can't run Suspicious Stowaway because of her backside. Gain a life, may draw a card and discard a card. No. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is his power. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, gets a counter. No. Ooh. And no. Alright. Nothing I really want from either of the more recent Innistrad sets. So, Ender. Thing. Cast a non-legendary creature spell with flying. Copy it, except it's a 1/1 spirit. Cast spirit spells so they add flash. Investigate X times X is the number of opponents I have. Draw my second card each turn. Make a 1/1 spirit. Each player reveals the top card of their library. For each creature card revealed this way, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1. If no creatures were revealed this way, return Haunting Imitation to owner's hand. Cast instant or sorcery spells with mana value less than or equal to the number of spirits you control from a graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into a graveyard, exile instead. Him in for anything. Enters the battlefield, create a blood token for each opponent, and they can be equipment of a commander they own. Well, River's 3, so that ain't happening. You sacrifice an artifact or creature, go target creature. Enforcer or another vampire enters the battlefield under your control. Fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Markov Enforcer this turn dies, create a blood token. Enters the battlefield, destroy up to X target artifacts without mana abilities, where X is the number of vampires I have. Or another non-token vampire you control dies, make a treasure. Sack 2 treasures, exile the top card of my deck. It's paired with another creature. Each of those creatures has, whenever this creature attacks each opponent, mills cards equal to its toughness. Is paired with another creature. Each of those creatures has at the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a token that's a copy of this creature, except it has haste, loses soulbound, and exile it at the end of combat. And then we get into the reprints. Yeah, none of those did anything for me. Move on to Innistrad Midnight Hunt Command. Third one. Alchemy. Thing again. Not really a zombie deck. That player reveals cards on top of their library until they reveal a creature. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest of those cards into their graveyard. Yeah. No, not a zombie deck. A lot of these aren't going to really work. May draw cards equal to the number of opponents dealt damage this way. If you do, discard that many cards. No. Each player mills 3 cards. You may exile a creature card milled this way. If you do, Shadowkin becomes a copy, except it has this ability. Exchange control of 2 target creatures you don't control. That player draws 2 additional cards. At the beginning of their end step, they discard their hand. Artifact sacrifice this way, I make a treasure. We're into the reprints. Alright. So nothing from that one either. Alright, after Innistrad comes Invasion. Get some more water. As it enters the battlefield, choose a color. It is the chosen color. No. Target permanent if it shares color. No. Each player separates all non-token lands they control into 2 piles for each player. One of those piles is chosen by one of their opponents of their choice. Destroy all lands in the chosen pile. Tap all lands in the other pile. I don't think so. Target spell or permanent becomes the color of your choice. Breaking Wave. Simultaneously untap all tapped creatures and tap all untapped creatures. No. Color spray. And deliver. Disrupt. Distorting Wake. Distorting Wake could be really obnoxious. Recurred. We only have to pay 1 per permanent we want to bounce. I'm sorry, I just cannot clear my throat, and this has been going on all week. And it takes like an hour of talking before I finally get through all of it. Which is really frustrating if I only stream for an hour. Because then it goes away after that. But by then the damage is already done. I feel like the Time Walk version of her could definitely use this, even if I don't want to do it with the other version. I might do it with both, though. It seems like a particularly potent card to be able to cast every turn if I needed to. Also, it has the benefit of it's not very good against things with good comes into play abilities, so it wouldn't necessarily end the game, but for some players it will take them out of it long enough to end the game anyway. Maybe if we don't have enough comes into play abilities and I can get the Torpor Orb into the deck. Because then we can bounce the comes into play abilities too, as long as we can protect Torpor Orb. Don't think I need Exclude. We probably want Fact or Fiction, though. Gets cards off the top of my deck. So we can get rid of things we don't want and get 2 more stuff. And it just gives us a bunch of cards to work with most of the time, too. Gitu Fire, Hooded Kavu, Monarch, Runner, Scout, Dart, Loafing Giant, Contest, Fight and Malice, Mana Maze, Manipulate Fate, exiling 3 cards from my deck and shuffling, and then I draw a card. Probably not. But we have to put Obliterate in. Although, do we? Because then it will blow up my way to put the card back on the bottom, and River, so I would have to recast her. Maybe we don't need Obliterate. I was thinking we need Obliterate so I can keep doing that every turn, but you can't really keep doing that every turn if the things that let you do it every turn suddenly explode. I mean, we might still want to Obliterate if things got out of hand anyway. So. Alright. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if there were any double consonants, like maybe the T's or something. Didn't feel like I was spelling it right, even though I was. I couldn't figure out what I thought it should be. Alright, don't need Overload, Phantasmal Terrain, Inner Portal, Probe we can't run because of the black. Our player chooses one or more targets. Each player reveals the top card of their library. Player revealed the card with the highest mana value may change the target. No. Card Scorching Lava. Raise. All of these. Fight, stand and deliver. And or fall. No. Done. Suffering, Sway of Illusions. Response. Distortion. Hourglass counters, no. Traveler's Cloak, Tribal Flame, Sabo's Web, Turf Wound, Rage, Washout, no. X is the number of basic lands you control. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom. Well, we're only gonna have 2 basic land types, so that means that I draw the one. I get the one card into my hand, and then I will draw the other card next turn. Alright, that was Invasion. To Ixalan. Would deal damage to a permanent player, deals double damage. Creature type matters. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. That's true, we probably do want Search for Azcanta. We'll put it in when we get to the search part of it, but Search for Azcanta actually works really well. Yeah, we even get to put the cards on the bottom of my library in any order, so I get to put the ones that I would have wanted to draw most closest to the bottom, so we draw them with River. Captivating Crew, Castaway's Despair. No, no. The Galleon. May draw a card and discard a card. Entire creature to owner's hand, create a treasure token. Block. Only creatures with flying. Enters the battlefield if you control another pirate. Tap 2 target non-land permanents. Firebrand, favorable winds. So Field of Ruin is one of those cards that would work. I missed it when I was in Midnight Hunt, probably because I knew it was a reprint. Field of Ruin is one of those cards that would work with River's second ability, because then everybody searches, so that would trigger once per opponent and would go in turn order, so the player, the active opponent or the next opponent in turn order would take the first amount of damage, and so on. So you can kind of control by when like whose turn it is that you use it on, who gets dealt the least damage, and then the players in turn order will progressively get dealt more damage if River lives. I guess I add it to the list just in case I still want to do a build with that ability, even though that seems less likely, since the other cards let me down so badly. Field of Ruin, potentially. Cannonade, Fire Shrine Keeper. Damage to target creature, or 6 damage if I attack this turn. It's half their library. Turn up to 2 target creatures to owner's hand. Oh, this is the one that gets the Planeswalker deck, Jace. No. Hijack. Watley Spurring. +1. One or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player's turn, draw and discard. Make an illusion. Create 2 token copies of Jace Cunning Castaway, except they're not legendary. As long as you control a Jace Planeswalker, +1/+0. Spells your opponents cast that target a merfolk you control cost 2 more. Don't need missions. You attack this turn, draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Target opponent mills 4 cards. Your dinosaur gains haste. No. 7. Perilous Voyage. Pirate's Prize. Instant sorcery spells cost 1 less. Whenever you cast instant sorcery, put a charge counter on it. When there are 4 counters, flip it. And then you copy any spell that you cast with the mana. This was in Nin for a while, and I wound up cutting it because it just wasn't flipping consistently. Like, by the time I could flip it consistently, I had gotten to the point where I was casting Time Walk every turn anyway. You know, like one of the Time Warp effects. So it doesn't really matter anymore if I make copies of it. I already have infinite turns. I will get there eventually. I don't need Rowdy Crew. Sailor of Means. Search for Azcanta, which is definitely on the list. Oops. Search for Azcanta. 1 in a blue for an enchant. It's a land. Shipwreck Looter. Scout. Siren Cruise. I don't need the Storm Tamer, I don't think. Spell Swindle. I don't think I need Star of Extinction either. Deal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value, and the rest go to the bomb in a random order. Search for a basic land, and then when I have enough lands, it flips. Treasure map. Each opponent must attack you or a planeswalker you control with at least 1 creature each combat. If able, at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token. Friendly fire. Blasting cannons. Don't think so. Nope, okay. So that was Ixalan. Ixalan comes Journey into Nyx. Strive, +1/+1, I'm flying. No. Gains hexproof. Air of Heavens dies, destroy all permanents. Chariot. Counter target spell, its controller mills 4 cards. No. Cyclops of Eternal Fury. Each player reveals the top card of your library. You may put the reveal cards into their owner's graveyards. If you don't, each player draws a card. That is another way to change the top card of my deck when I know what know what it is and don't want it. So we might actually want that. This is Journey. This is Dacra Mystic. Blue for a Merfolk Wizard. Tapped, you may exchange control of target non-land permanent you control and target permanent opponent controls that shares a type with it. Beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an extra card. Sources deal double damage. Spells hurt. 2 cards, no. Force. Need Hubris. Hypnotic Siren. Interpret the signs. Reveal the first card you draw on each of your turns. Whenever you reveal a land card this way, draw a card. Whenever you reveal a non-land card, deal 3 damage to any target. Whenever you scry, you may pay 2. Knowledge and Power deals 2 damage to any target. I forgot it had a cost associated with it. I thought it was just deal a damage, not pay 2 to deal 2 damage. And it's a 5-drop enchantment. Yeah, I don't think we need that. Power Lightning Diadem, Magma Spray. Still not sure if I want Karanos or not. I don't think we need him for anything. Like, he's fine as a way to draw extra cards or deal damage, but it is 3 damage to any target, so maybe. Out of your library, you may play it this turn. Choose a creature on the battlefield. Any number of target creatures you control each become a copy of that creature until end of turn. No. Reprint. It's 2/2. Rouse the Mob. Age of Hours. Hoplite. Skink. There's a Sigiled Starfish. Do I actually want that? Like, tap to scry 1. don't need Storm Chaser Chimera. Still also debating the Sigiled Starfish. Because if I have other cards that scry, then I can... If I don't want the card, but I have other scries, I can put it to the bottom and I can get an extra repeatable way to put another card on the bottom. So that way, if I don't like the cards, then I can keep putting multiples to the bottom over the turns and maybe dig through the cards I don't want until I start hitting cards I do want. Or a shuffle effect. Yeah, I suppose I do consider Sigiled Starfish then. Is one in a blue, right? Huh. This creature type is Starfish. 3. S-I-G-I-L... T. Yeah, okay. Well, the same way they did. We also probably want the Temple of Epiphany. Our land slot. For an extra scry. This is Ire. Hey, I think that was it. So, Journey into Nyx. On to Judgment. It shouldn't have much. Judgment was very white-green focused. To make up for Torment's mono-black focus. With blue and red just getting cards normally. Draw creatures. No one does. Target player draws 3 cards. Burning Wish. But no. Deals combat damage to a player. Return up to that many target permanents that player controls to owner's hand. Burning Wish. Defy Gravity. Shot. Envelop. Firecat Blitz. Glaring Pain. Fledgling Dragon. Vortusk. Enter target spell unless its controller exiles all the cards in their graveyard and draw a card. Nope. Extra Rage. Jessica. Stain. Lava Dart. 4 damage to any target. 7 or more cards instead 6 damage. Damage can't be prevented and has flashback. Mill 2 cards, draw a card. So if we're running Thought Scour, I might also want Mental Note. Assuming we run either of them. Of Stagnation. Monastery. Quiet Speculation. Plexus. If 2 more cards have the same name, repeat this process. Spelljack. Sandstorm. Player may exile a card from their graveyard. If that player doesn't, creatures they control can attack this turn. World Gorger Dragon, Wormfang Behemoth. I don't think we need any of the Wormfangs for anything. I would not mind if we did run Torpor Orb negating Wormfang Manta's effect. But anyway, so that was Judgment. Go to Jumpstart. I forget, did Jumpstart work like this? If I did this, we got all of the new blue cards and then all of the new red cards and so on. Lands. I think it worked that way. Archaeomender. Artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. If an opponent would mill one or more cards, they mill twice that many. Okay, treasure token. White. Noda Ormos. Scholar. Doesn't untap, sack another creature. X damage to each creature and planeswalker you don't control, where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Phoenix. Hello, Reno. Nah, I'm just deck building today. I won't be playing any of the drafts. Living Lightning dies, return instant or sorcery. No. I don't need Muxus, since we won't have enough goblins for him. First strike, dies, deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Sathron, because he's black-red. Zerzoth, Chaos Rider. Draws their first card each turn. If it's not their turn, they create a 1/1 Devil. Whenever one or more devils you control attack one or more players, you and those players each draw a card, then discard a card at random. I think so, and then the lights. Okay. Nothing from Jumpstart 1. The Jumpstart 2. Alright, what we got this time? Draw your second card each turn, make a Drake. Draw your fifth card each turn, +X, where X is the number of cards in hand. Enters the battlefield, scry 3. When it attacks, you may return another creature you control to owner's hand. It can't be blocked this turn. Enchant creature, planeswalker. No. Can't run Isu. Can't run Kenisos. Counter target creature, planeswalker spell, make a Thopter. Draw a card, then discard a card. Enter the battlefield is a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it's a pirate, and it has whenever a creature, this creature or another creature with the same name deals combat damage to a player, I draw a card. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 4, draw 2 cards. Target non-land permanent to its owner's library, second from the top. Mux reprint, Spiteful Prankster reprint. Ardos. It's a battlefield, creature you control get +2/+0. That creature gets +2/+0. Red and 3, create a 1/1 goblin creature token with haste. Whenever a source you control deals damage to you, put that many 1/1 counters on it. Remove that many counters, deals X damage to any target. When an attacking creature you control dies, Brazen Cannonade deals 2 damage to each opponent. Beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you attack this turn. So whenever attacking creature I control dies, deals 2 damage to each opponent. Beginning of post-combat main phase, if I attack this turn, exile the top card of my library until end of combat on your next turn, you may play that card. It's not terrible, but we don't have a ton of creatures to begin with. So at the beginning of the next end step, full-born enemy deals 1 damage to target creature, token, player, or planeswalker. Researcher enters the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. During any turn you attack with Goblin Researcher, you may play that card. Mizzix Replica Rider. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may pay hybrid red-white, or hybrid red-blue and 1. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets. The copy is a permanent spell, it gains haste, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice the permanent. So Mizzix works just fine with all of my other, I can play the top card of my deck. So maybe. Okay, so Jumpstart. 2 Z's, right? Mizzix, yeah. 6 Replica Rider. 4 and a red for a Goblin Wizard 4/5. Attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard by paying red in addition to its other costs. If it would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. When you cast that spell, it gets +X/+O, where X is that spell's mana value. Enters the battlefield, discard a card and draw a card. Enters the battlefield, pay 1. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target token you control, not named Dutiful Replicator. Atlas. Alternate artworks for these. Yeah, we're into all the alternate arts now. Okay. Let's jumpstart. So next up is Kaladesh. Okay. Aetherflux Reservoir. Aether Theorist can only scry 3 times if I don't make energy elsewhere. Zarbarge, Courier, Scourge, Arctic Reunion, Projection, Chandra Torch of Defiance. Do pluses to exile the top card of my library, and then I can cast it. If I don't, she deals 2 damage to each opponent. So that can burn through the cards I don't want, while actually dealing damage to my opponents. And she can do other things. Yeah, you probably want to consider Chandra. Alright, so this is Kaladesh. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. 2 red. She's a Planeswalker. She starts on 4? 4. Okay. Pyrohelix, Puzzle Knot, Combustible Gearhulk. I don't think I need Combustible Gearhulk. The problem is I usually don't know what the third card is, even if I might know what the... I almost definitely know what the first card is with the things I'm running. I might know the second card for some reason. Knowing the third card, whether or not I want that. if I know the second card and I know I don't want either of them, Combustible Gear Hulk is fine because I won't even draw those cards if they let me draw. I'll just draw the ones from the bottom of the deck instead. So that can be helpful. I don't think I'm going to have any consistent knowledge of the second card, and I almost never will know the third card. Fill a number of cards in your hand, discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. New. Inspector. Reprisal. Draw 3. Nope. Genius. Witness, Crane, Harness Lightning, Hijack. Counter target spell, choose new targets, or copy it. I think so. Creature. Key to the city. Cap Experiment. So, Metallurgic Summons, probably not. Innovator, Padeem, Panharmonicon. I don't think I want Panharmonicon when I'm already trying to figure out if I can get away with Torpor Orb. Seems kind of like the opposite. Raider, no. Tactics. Scry 1, deal 1 damage. Token that's a copy of target artifact or creature I control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. Search my library for up to 3 artifacts with different names and put them on the battlefield. I don't think I have enough stuff for the -2. I think the biggest one we have right now is Sensei's Top as a means to like draw extra cards. We -2 her and we get to draw an extra card that way. That's not much of anything. All of my other artifacts, it's kind of like I -2 her, I make some extra mana that turn, essentially. I think I'd rather have Tezzeret at that point to shuffle my deck and to untap my artifacts. Though she is cheaper than Tezzeret by 2 mana, so not entirely a fair comparison. I don't think we need her, though. Ah, good old Smuggler's Copter. Now, side Infiltrator. One or more energy gets +2/+2. Driving creatures. Gear Hulk. Whirler Virtuoso. Whirler Maker. Nope. Okay. Alright, so we are right at the hour mark. So if you're watching this in the VODs, that's going to do it for this particular one. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.